Welcome to Sports and Politics with T. I'm your host, Tanya. Tonight we have made it back to Monday, guys. Listen, I hope everybody has enjoyed their weekend. We have made it. We're actually going into the second week of November, guys. Let's give it up. That's right. We are getting ready to get back into the middle part of November. Listen, tonight we're going to talk about a lot of things that has transpired. We're going to do a continuation of last Thursday where we talked about JD Vance and Erica Kirk's interaction. Listen, guys, we have been getting a lot of feedback. We've been getting a lot of comments, and we're also going to talk about people's reaction to this, okay? We're going to listen to two segments tonight dealing with people's reaction. Some people are understanding. Some people are not buying it as far as Erica's excuse, as far as what's going on. Also, allegedly, there could be some talks of divorce rumors with JD Vance as well. So we're definitely going to take a look at this to see what's going on. After these videos are complete, I'm definitely going to let you know how I feel about this. And once it's over, we'll dissect this video and I'll let you know exactly how I feel as far as the interaction and why I felt like it was just definitely inappropriate as far as what happened on last week between JD Vance and Erika Kirk. So let's go ahead and get started for tonight. And this is dealing with the Hodge Twins. The Hodge Twins, we've covered them before. They are conservative. And they were very good friends with Charlie Kirk, which is Erica Kirk's late husband. So let's talk about this, and we're going to dissect the video. Once it's over, I'll let you know how I feel. And let's just listen in on what they feel is what's going on as far as this scenario.
I have to admit, too, it looks pretty weird.
I won't ever replace my husband. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President.
Actually, I'm going to back it up just a second. Okay.
A lot of people have been talking about Erica Kirk, about her behavior and how she's bugging people, and she's really been put on a microscope. And I have to admit, too, it looks pretty weird.
I won't ever replace my husband. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD. Yes, I do.
She's in a difficult spot because her husband dies, so everyone obviously feels for her. But then I think between her doing the weird Instagram story, holding his hands as he's in the casket, these weird photo ops of like crying without tears, and coming out and doing the memorial with pyrotechnics like his WWE like that, it doesn't look good optically.
Let me ask you this: there's a lot of people that think Israel killed Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
I looked at some slowed down video. They're making accusations that his lapel mic.
Yeah.
Because we all seen the pagers.
Mm-hmm.
They They said it was the microphone
that blew up or something like that, right? With the Charlie Kirk assassination, I don't know what to believe. At this point, what I will say is this: the official story doesn't add up, and since the official story doesn't add up, people are coming up with their own theories. And that's what ends up happening. And I think. Well, the FBI is doing the case, but they haven't really charged it. So it's really the state police that are running it out of Utah, the state Bureau of Investigation, probably, which is like their equivalent of the FBI, because they're the ones that actually brought the charges. They're working with the state attorney, DA, so they're the ones running it. I think that they need to be more transparent about this case. There's more, the way they release the footage and the information they gave us, it's created more questions than answers.
Yeah, why didn't they have an autopsy though? I think his wife didn't want it.
That's weird too, and it's mandated. Like if in a homicide, that you have to do
we can't even confirm how he died.
Yeah, there's questions all over the place.
The guy that's in jail for it, he shot a rifle, and it had is it true? It was a 3.2 round?
Yeah, they said 30-06 or something like that.
30-06, something like that. Your head would blow up like a pumpkin.
Yeah, which is like
they said it exploded.
Yep.
But he's just got this clean hole.
Yep.
So
things don't add up. Like the 30-06 issue. The footage they have of him running on the roof. Why do they not shows the footage of him prone and taking the shot?
Right.
We only just see him running across the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. And then also on top of that, like the text messages between him and his lover are odd and strange.
Yeah. Don't seem authentic.
Not at all. Mm-hmm. The way that he's speaking to him is strange. So it's like there's all these.
Was he in that weapon he had? I never saw him carrying it before.
Like he had like a rifle bag when he was running, right? But like
So he broke the rifle down, right?
No one knows. It's like some people are saying it was a Mauser that was old that can be broken down. Some people are saying he did break it down. So it's like, and this is the problem. Whenever you're not transparent, people start coming up with their own theories, and then like people don't know what to believe. And this is the issue with the FBI and law enforcement in general, and this is why people's trust is so down. Like in an age of open information where everything is out there, I think, you know, for this case especially, since it has so much public interest, they should just come out and share everything, dude. Like, just be transparent about it. It's not a fucking terrorism case. It's a murder homicide case. It's not of national security threat for you guys to share this information.
Right.
Be transparent. Give the information to the people so that they can have more trust in the government in general. Because at this point, they've done such a shitty job of being transparent that no one trusts the government anymore. And I think with this one, since it has so much interest, bro, like, just release the info.
Yeah.
You know, be more transparent. Like, you know, because the official narrative is not adding up and no one buys it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, a lot of people have been talking about Erika Kirk, about her behavior and how she's bugging people and people are judging her. You know, she's really been put on a microscope.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to admit, too, it looks pretty weird.
It does. Yeah, I mean,
I saw some women are touchy-feely. Yeah, right. Yeah, Joe Biden's one of those people. He doesn't understand personal space. Yeah.
You know, she's in a difficult spot because her husband dies in front of millions.
That's crazy.
The way, you know, we've all seen
how my
the graphic
wife would
footage.
function after something like that.
Yeah.
And she's put in front of cameras every day.
Yeah.
How does she do that? I have no idea.
You know, so everyone obviously feels for her. But then I think between her doing the weird Instagram story, holding his hands as he's in the casket, you know, these weird photo ops of like, you know, crying without tears and, you know, coming out and doing the memorial with pyrotechnics like it's WWE and shit like that.
Yeah, what?
Like, you know, and people say
Selling merchandise.
everyone, yes, and then also I didn't know this, but like a lot of people I guess are subscribed to TPUSA on email. Like after he passed away, apparently they sent a bunch of fucking emails saying donate. And then I also heard that like booth prices, if you were trying to get a booth at AmFest, tripled, right? Like to damn near 20K. It was like 5K and now it's like 20K.
Yeah.
So
it's like a quick money grab.
yeah, and I think it's, you know, at this point it's kind of irrefutable between increasing booth prices, saying donate more, merch, selling all this stuff. You know, it doesn't look good optically, right? It doesn't look good. And look, I get it. Charlie was the heart and soul of the organization. They're probably building a war chest fund right now and monopolizing. They're capitalizing on obviously this so that they can have money for years. They're probably losing maybe some donors and shit like that. Right. So, because we know that some of them were not happy with him platforming Tucker and shit like that. So maybe she's doing it to be future proof. But, you know, there's no denying that optically it looks bad. And, you know, a lot of libs are loving it. They're like, yes, they're all over it, bro. Like, why are you touching JD Vance like that? Why are you wearing these leather pants? Why do you cry without tears? Like
the look on JD Vance's face is priceless.
Yeah.
He's like,
No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD. Yes, I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight. Because he understands the fight that we're up against. And he can articulate that in a way that transcends. He's an amazing man. No one will ever replace my husband.
I never really seen the hug though. I just seen pictures.
Yeah, she like there we go.
What's so fabulous about these is that they're clear on the top and then they transition.
Okay, that didn't look that bad. The pictures.
Yeah, the pictures make it look worse.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think that this is that bad.
Right.
Honestly, it's weird a little bit.
I just came across pictures. Her fingers is underneath his hand.
Yeah, like people, you know, obviously are running with it. Like, and here's the thing, right?
That didn't look bad at all.
Yeah, when you actually play the full video, it's like, all right, bro, like whatever. But yeah, if you take a still, it looks crazy, right? Right.
I'm about to take a picture with this fitness influencer.
Yeah.
Chief's hand was on her boob. Like I didn't even realize he was totally grabbed. He's the girl.
Man.
Like you're the girl, right? Now I'm the girl. I'm like this. But she's a tiny girl, so my hand comes all the way around. He's like a handful of boob.
Yeah. And
she didn't say nothing.
And that's kind of like, you know, I guess one of the consequences of being in the social media age.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
people go
they'll take a picture. I'll give you one. So like everyone says uses this old picture of me, right? Well, let's go ahead and address this right now. Of like me on a bed with some white dudes. Pause. Right? So this is, and they always say this like, look, Byron, you're gay, blah blah. Yeah. Bruh, that photo was taken like in 2011, 2012. I was a rower in college, Division I at Northeastern.
Oh, okay.
We used to do spring training trips and go down to Florida because obviously the water's frozen in December up north. So we were in Sarasota, Florida doing a training trip. We had practice at like 4 or 5 a.m. I am not a morning person. I hate being a morning person, and I don't like waking up. So my teammates would fuck with me. As I was in my room sleeping.
Yeah, white boys always doing some gay shit.
Yeah, you guys come from the military. You guys get it.
Yeah.
So they break into my fucking room, right? At like 4 in the morning.
Damn savage.
Turning the fucking lights on like this and shit like that, playing techno music and shit. And they wake me up.
Yeah.
And then so I'm sitting there because you can see I'm under the covers like this. And the guy, my buddy Eric, he's like on top of me like this. And that picture was taken at that moment when they were fucking with me to wake me up.
Right,
That's why my eyes are closed like this and I'm sitting there. And people are like, look, see, this guy's gay. Bruh, like, have you never played a sport? Have you never been in the military? Have you ever not been around like
a bunch of guys?
Well, a bunch of guys. Like when people say that dumb shit, I'm like, you clearly have never had like a brotherhood.
A bunch of young guys at that.
Yeah, like this is what young guys do. They do dumb shit like that. So that picture was taken at that moment. And it looked crazy, but when you have the full context, it's like a breaking in my room, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not a morning person. It's hilarious to them. They're flicking the lights and shit. We're getting ready for practice. Now it makes sense. But people always omit context to try to sell some stupid ass narrative.
Yeah, right.
That's why I do what I.
Okay, so that's a good point, what he just said. Now, let's analyze this. First of all, what they're saying in a nutshell is, if you freeze the picture, of course it looks bad, right? It was inappropriate. And if you speed up the video, it doesn't look as bad because it was pretty brief. It wasn't really long, but the hug was still inappropriate, right? Now, given these two were Charlie Kirk's friends, okay? They knew him personally. In fact, I think they interviewed Charlie on one of their shows, maybe about a little over a year ago. And so they know them on a personal level. So, that's why I say on Thursday, you really can't read too much into it because you don't really know the dynamics of everything. However, I will say that still, even if you speed that video up, that hug was still inappropriate because of how she hugged JD. It wasn't so much the hug. It wasn't because it wasn't long enough. And it wasn't because of just everything. It's just the fact of how she did it and the fact that she disrespected Charlie Kirk's death by comparing her late husband to JD Vance, or JD Vance to her late husband, So I think that's where the issue is too. It wasn't just the hug. It was the fact that, when you say but, it's almost like you pretty much erase everything you just said about your husband. It's almost like somebody saying, hey, you know what? I like you, but that means right there that there's a problem, or they don't like you to that level. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say when she said but in that speech of hers, I think she would have been okay if she hadn't have said but and then try to compare JD Vance to her late husband, even if they had similarities, even if they, whatever. It's just the fact that it was just inappropriate all the way around, So anyway, let's listen in on another outtake, and let's listen in on, her name is Nadia. She's not buying any of it. She said, I don't buy any of what Erica is saying, and so I just want to hear different outtakes. I mean, they made some good points as far as the Hodge Twins, as far as, if you speed up a video, you'll see that it wasn't as bad of a hug, but the hug was still inappropriate, right? And you can't just say it was just the hug, too. It was things that was leading up to that, the speech, the comparisons, all that stuff, right? But anyway, let's listen in on this young lady. Her name is Nadia, for real. And she's going to tell you how she feels about this whole scenario as well.
Genius. It's 2025.
Hi guys, so this is a very quick reaction video. I just finished watching the Jesse Waters interview with Erica Kirk, and I know that you guys were asking me about a reaction, and I just wanted to give it to you while it was still fresh in my mind, and it's not fancy, but here we go. So, as predicted, most of the questions, at least for the first, I don't know, let me see, 20 minutes or so, are just softball questions about how they met or about their marriage or the kids and everything else. And again, and maybe I'm wrong, but I just cannot watch her with all these pats. The whole thing was like this, the whole thing. Maybe Erica, and I hate to sound like such a, but maybe just wear less makeup. And that way you don't have to worry about whatever's running down. If you know that you're going to cry, because obviously you should, then why would you wear all that makeup? And I'm sorry, but I'm just going to say, I can't get, what is up with all those rings? Like, what is up with all of those rings? I can't. It's very distracting. And to be quite honest, I went in there with very, like, open to hear and just try to be as unbiased as possible, but she made it really hard. Okay, so the first couple questions were just all softballs. What I did notice was that in the beginning, she kept saying things like, we have the same values, meaning her and Charlie. We have the same this, we have the same that. I think that means that she's been coached because she knows that he's gone.
If you're over 50 and you're not dermaplaning, you're making a big mistake. You can get rid of fine lines and wrinkles, and
she knows that it would have been to say like, oh, Charlie and I always had. But the fact that she kept saying we have, I was like, somebody coached her. Somebody coached her because this is what people who grieve do, right? They forget that that person is no longer there. And that is the feeling that I got from it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. Anyways, moving on. So the question about their marriage. Okay, something she said, I forgot what time it was, but it was in the beginning. She said something about something that Charlie would do on the Sabbath, that he would put his phone away. On the Sabbath, okay, the Sabbath for Christians is Sunday, not Saturday. And I felt like that was just her trying to like push this narrative of like, and that he would say Shabbat Shalom and put it away. And I was like, what? He wasn't Jewish. And I just felt like that was like a call, you know, she was trying to give out like a dog whistle. Like, you see, he was still really all about Israel. So you guys, and I wasn't buying it, me myself. That was very confusing to me because it's something that comes up later, and I'm going to get to it. What's up with the rings, the dry eye pats, of course. She said, protect what you love. I think that's going to come back to her. A lot of crying for the camera. I'm not saying that none of it was real. I think that there were some parts where I was like, yeah, that's real right there. Something's going on in her head, and she's really crying now. But most of the time, it was just, to me, it felt performative. They said that her mom had a health issue, and that's why she wasn't with Charlie. I don't know. Did she? Now, finally, at 8:25, we get to the Mikey call. And she said that Mikey called her within seconds. But Candace brought up a very interesting question today, which was, what did he do? Just call you and say, hey, Charlie got shot, get the security, and then hang up? Like, if you're breaking that news to someone, that is massive traumatic news. Wouldn't you take the time to actually, like, Erica, are you okay? Where are you? Look, I'm sorry, Charlie got shot. I don't know what's going on. Where are the kids? Get security. You wouldn't just hang up on her in 2 seconds. And I think to cover that, because I'm sure that there's been some talk about what's going on the internet. She said, I immediately went outside and fell out on the parking lot of the clinic where my mother was. So maybe that's going to be the story, right? That's why Mikey hung up with her so quickly, because she let the phone go. I can see that this is where it's going, so just mark my words.
Let me just say something too about this. You know, now a lot of people are speculating that, you know, JD Vance wants to run for president in 2028. And the speculation right now is because JD Vance's wife is Hindu and Erica is Christian, that the Republican Party would like for something to happen, allegedly, for their divorce to take place so that Erica can come with JD Vance. So it'll be two white Christian people together, because believe it or not, the Republican Party does not like minorities. Okay, even though she's Indian and she's Hindu, they still don't like her being a part of the Republican Party. As far as JD Vance's wife, so they're hoping really that something does happen, where it's a divorce, so that if there is an affair allegedly going on, that JD Vance and Erica can get together, so it'll be two full-fledged white Christian people together for that Republican Party. So that's why people are saying that this is a setup. They're thinking that Erica is trying to, use this not to boost her chances. I'm not saying she's not grieving, but I do think that she is using this opportunity to become more and more relevant. Okay, because really we didn't know anything about her until this, right? Now she's blew up over the internet. And guess what? As long as she stays in the spotlight, people are going to know who she is right off the bat, right? And JD Vance, everybody knows him because he's the vice president, okay? But he has done some things that was a little speculative last week too, as far as criticizing his wife's religion. Remember when I told you on last Thursday, I said, whenever someone brings up something that wasn't never an issue, but now it's an issue. Remember, if y'all when I talked about the cheating, maybe about 2 months ago, and I said that one of the signs, or it could be a sign, that there might be some problems. I'm not saying that there is, right? But usually the spouse will start bringing up things that wasn't an issue and make it an issue now, okay? Also, if you look at JD Vance's wife, they're saying she is aging pretty badly. And I've seen pictures of her. They're saying she's only 39, but she's aged just in the last year. Okay, from last year to this time to now, she is really like not looking healthy at all. So there's a lot of stuff going in the pipeline, guys, that I'm definitely taking a notice of this. But anyway, let's keep going, and then we'll dissect this after it's over.
I can't get over these rings. What does MG mean? What is up with all this jewelry? I don't get it. And then she talks about when she went to go see Charlie's body in the hospital, and she said that when she walked in there, he had a smirk on his face. A smirk on his face. Now, I would imagine that meant that he died peacefully, right? He died in peace. And she did say that. She said, oh, that was a sign to me that he had died in peace. He died doing what he loves. But then she plugs TPUSA. And I was like, girl, like, are you seriously going to do this? She said, it was as if he was saying, you thought you could stop what I built? What? For him to die with a smile on his face, fine, yes, he was at peace, I agree with that, but I don't think he was thinking about TPUSA. And it's interesting that you would include that in there, and I'm wondering who told her that would be a good idea, because I don't think it plays. I think that's a massive red flag. Like, why would she even mention, oh, you thought you could stop me? You took my body, but you can't stop my movement. Like, I don't think that's what he would have been thinking. And the fact that she said it just raises a red flag for me. I don't know. Moving on.
Actually, let me chime in one more time. There's one more thing that I wanted to say about Charlie Kirk's assassination. Candace Owens has been in a debate with her too, and now they're not getting along. And Candace Owens, who's a diehard Republican, loves Trump, everything. We talked about Candace maybe about 2 or 3 months ago. Well, she says that if you look at some of the surveillance before he got assassinated, that some of the people took the camera that was behind Charlie down. And she said that just doesn't make any sense. Why would they remove a camera that's facing out into the crowd, right? They showed pictures of the men, whoever they were, or it was a guy, just taking the camera down that was right directly behind Charlie before and it was like minutes before it happened, so that is strange. A lot of things are not making sense as far as, the assassination itself. And that's another thing. It seemed like nobody's really investigating this, or nobody, like, to me, I would think Erica would be wanting to get to the bottom of who killed her husband, not going around doing all of this, and it's just, it's sad, it just doesn't make sense to me, this whole ordeal, but anyway, let's keep going.
I think she said at 8:33, she said, I don't believe in coincidences. That is going to come back to her. She's going to regret she ever said that. I guarantee you, mark my words, something's going to happen and it's going to be like, oh, it was a coincidence. And then these words are going to come back to haunt her.
You know what? I got to stop one more time. Let me say something too about JD Vance's wife. Okay. She's in a bad situation too, because everybody said Erica's in a bad situation because she's supposedly grieving. But JD Vance's wife is in a bad situation too, because people are saying that, she needs to watch herself. She really needs to watch herself, and she needs to start getting more out in the open too. Not stay hidden behind what's going on, because it's coming across like she is trying to, not say allegedly, move into the marriage situation, in hopes of taking over the family. I'm not sure if that's what it is. A lot of people are speculating that, but a lot of people are saying that she needs to watch herself, and I understand from a safety standpoint, and just, being a wife, she's already practically made it known on stage that, in my eyes, that to me, when she said that, there was some similarities, you can take it different ways, so it just was inappropriate. And to me, it was disrespectful to her late husband at the same time. So, but anyway, let's keep going.
I don't believe in coincidences. Just keep that in mind. He asked her, Jesse Water asked her, do you think that they caught your husband's killer? She went around in a circle and eventually just landed on, I trust our team. So no, yes, no, I trust our team. That's it. I insulated myself by getting, she said that she let her phone, she wasn't paying attention to anything. She had to insulate herself. But then I'm like, how did you insulate yourself? You were on TV and on the internet and doing podcasts within a week. What do you mean you were insulating yourself? No, you weren't.
This is
Oh my God, these people are really, really going in.
my favorite dentist hack to clean my retainer. If you wear a retainer every night like I do, you know how hard.
What is that? And then she said at 8:34, she said there are a lot of fake images out there. Okay. Then he asks her, do you feel safe? This is pivotal because I was like, my God, this woman's husband gets assassinated and she just goes up and goes everywhere and she doesn't feel anything. That's telling.
And that's another thing. There's no emotion. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you see where she does try to pat her face when she's, crying. Well, there's some people say she's not even crying, but it's just, I just can't imagine, no matter who it is, especially my spouse, if they got assassinated on TV or just assassinated, period, doesn't matter how it was or where it was. I don't even know if I'd be in the frame of mind to be speaking to anyone that quickly. I mean, you do have to be strong, and I understand that. But for her to be on podcasts and to just doing all these interviews, I mean, I guess you do have to speak for Charlie because he's not here anymore, but mentally and just inside, like emotionally, I don't even know if I could do that quickly. It would take me some time, to get my thoughts together and be with my family, because I wouldn't even want to take no questions. That's just me, just for to have privacy and to grieve and to put things together. Now, if I needed to do an interview, it would have to be something that it wouldn't be that quick. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think I would be as joyful, because that's another thing people are saying. She's so happy. I don't see why she's so happy. Again, people grieve in different ways, but a lot of the stuff is just not making sense, guys. I'm sorry. I mean, we try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but like this lady's saying, she's not making it easy. I mean, it's just from the hug to the comparisons to, her taking over the Turning Point USA, and then they're saying that she's asking for donations, and she's already wealthy. It's like, what? It's just a whole big fiasco.
And she said, I do. Clearly, she said, I do feel safe. 8:36, she plugs TPUSA again. 8:39, we have an organization to run. Again with the plugging in of TPUSA. This is not the time to talk about that. I don't understand why she who told her that this was going to be a good idea? I have no clue. That person should get fired, because this is not playing well. It just isn't. She shouldn't have talked about TPUSA at all, unless Jesse Waters would have had the spine to ask her. Charlie was auditing TPUSA. Are you continuing that audit? He didn't ask her that. So she should have mentioned it. Tyler Robinson. So they were saying that Tyler Robinson's trial is coming up in January, and that the defense doesn't want cameras allowed in the courtroom. And so Jesse Waters asks her, how do you feel about that? And she said, there have been cameras all over me, all over her family, all over their friends who are grieving. So it's only fair that there are cameras in the courtroom. First of all, I believe there should be cameras in the courtroom, but it's not because Erica's been on camera. Erica put herself on camera. Erica has repeatedly put herself in front of the camera.
So what she's saying is she's voluntarily doing all this. She don't have to do what she's doing. It's like I said, I think some of this she's using to make herself more and more relevant. Okay? Because again, I didn't know who she was until this happened. And now, sometime when you get that little attention, some people use that to keep making yourself more and more relevant, so it's crazy, guys. I mean, it's just crazy. It's, I wanted to kind of touch on people's reactions, because some people are still talking about it after a little over a week now, and it happened during Halloween, but it's just crazy, guys. It is crazy. So we're going to still keep our eyes open on this, and kind of see what's going on as far as JD Vance, because they're saying there could be some divorce rumors. So we're going to keep a close eye on that too. But anyway, guys, again, I hope y'all have enjoyed the show. I will be back on Thursday. We're going to get back into the political arena, and we're going to keep going long and hard on Fun and Entertainment with T on Saturday at 8 p.m. So I hope y'all enjoyed yourselves. I'm glad. Yes. So again, catch me on Thursday night at 8 p.m. And again, if you enjoyed this content, please hit like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you can, please hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss any episodes every time I come on to YouTube. I will be back at 8 on Thursday, guys. All right, guys. Well, everybody enjoy the rest of your week. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down for tonight. And again, thank you for all the likes, shares, and comments, and everybody subscribing to this channel. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you on Thursday at 8. Take care. Bye-bye.